John Pollock here, along with John Ramdian and Robin Black. We're looking at UFC 207, two championship fights that night from Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. And we are going to be chatting about the Bantamweight bout involving champion Dominick Cruz, who looks for his third victory to close out 2016. He will be taking on the latest Team Alpha Male fighter that is looking to knock off Dominick Cruz, and that is Cody Garbrandt. And Robin, I know you are not the one that really dissects all of the back and forth talk, but I mean, Dominick Cruz is to me just
top notch,
the masterclass of this. When it comes to watching somebody just dissect an opponent and build up a fight, Dominick Cruz has been able to take his analysis and turn it into
a weapon.
A lot of interesting aspects going into a fight.
Yeah, 95% of the things that fighters say are absolutely useless and a distraction to all of us. We're all sitting around, oh, is it true that Aldo might fight for the middleweight interim whatever? Come on. Most of this talk is garbage, and most of the time we spend a lot of time analyzing it that we could have spent watching fighting. But just because most of it's garbage doesn't mean it all is. There are times that some of these guys weaponize their words, and Dominick Cruz is one of those guys. And in conversations, you can point a guy in a certain direction to say and think things, because once you ask Cody Garbrandt, why are you going to win? He's like, I've been believing since I was a kid I was going to knock you out, and you know, I just know when I get in there, I see my hand raised. You know, every single fighter feels that way, right? Like every single fighter thinks that. Every one of them thinks it's their destiny. Every single one of them. So you need more than that. And Dominick forces you to answer the questions. Why can you do it? And a lot of the time you don't have the answer. You don't have the answer.
Yeah. It's really something to watch. I mean, whether it was the Fox segment or just Dominick Cruz in general, we all go back to the TJ Dillashaw sit-down he had ahead of that fight.
Sensational.
And I think you could really look at that stuff where it's Dominick Cruz putting a fighter in an uncomfortable position to talk about your career. Why are you going to do this? And making them almost insecure, and that's totally a weapon going into these fights.
Yeah, the UFC has to really pump up his tires, because I think based on the things we've seen of Dominick Cruz and just how confident he is, they have to push him as the heel. They have to embrace the pro wrestling roots and push Dominick Cruz, because I really feel that they could have a star on their hands. Now, do you have to have the type of performances like Anderson Silva or a Michael Bisping in order to be that type of star, or can you do it based on the fact that everybody in the entire sport considers you the top of your division and maybe the pound for pound in the game?
He's also just completely his own thing. They don't fight like him. They don't understand what he does. And people will at times go, well, TJ Dillashaw doesn't fight at all like Dominick Cruz. The concepts are different. The way that their mind works is different. The way that the games are put together, totally different.
But the look for a lot of people is the same.
Yeah, when you glance at it, you see them both move their feet a lot. Okay, that's cool. Stephen Thompson moves his feet a lot. Conor McGregor moves his feet a lot. They're playing different games. Dominick Cruz is playing games. He's running sorting algorithms in his mind. As he comes out, his mind is cataloging your responses to the stimuli that it gives you. And then he starts to be able to predict them based on the other information he sees, and he penalizes you for your choices. And he does it with a type of movement they don't understand, and a type of movement that takes half a decade to be able to create in yourself, that 5 years ago everybody else should have been trying to figure out and didn't. So now he's 5 years better again. He figured out how the mind games aspects of fighting work, studied it, understands it. Nobody else is. He understands analysis. Most of them aren't. He's just pushing it further and further, peeling back the onion further and further and further. And can Cody Garbrandt catch him moving sideways, intercept him? Sure, it's possible. If Cody Garbrandt's going to win, it's by knockout in the first or second round. But it's unlikely, and he's leaving it to chance. Can he win the fight? Yeah, he can. But it will rely on a certain amount of chance to happen. If Dom wins, it will rely entirely on strategies and techniques and a game that he's built for 10 years leading up to this moment.
Do you think it's important for Dominick Cruz to wreck the confidence of Cody Garbrandt right off the hop? Because we know he's going to be moving forward. We know, but at the same time, because even though he is new to the sport, relatively new to the sport, he is a very talented individual, and you see potential growth, and you see how he could eventually challenge and win the UFC title. But at this stage, what are some of the other aspects that Dominick Cruz needs to do to make sure that Garbrandt is off his game?
If a normal person in a bar is getting in some type of trouble, you really don't want to make the other guy mad, because it might be worse. Right, he's mad. Look how mad he is. That's bad. When you're a high-level professional athlete, you want that guy to be mad. You want him to be gritting his teeth, tightening up, overusing his energy, overusing the muscular expression of everything. You know, if you throw a light kick, you can do way more damage than putting everything into it. You want this young guy emotional, and you want him overly aggressive. You want him driving in straight lines. And Garbrandt is very good at stepping off and cutting angles as he widens it out to come back in on you. But Dom's over here, and if he can get him angrily coming forward, that's how he hurts guys. If he's going to hurt you, it's through creating a collision by dragging you in and stepping out to the side. Anger is not good for Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt has a week to get that under control, but in that week, there's going to be a whole lot more opportunities for Dom to play, and Dom's already been playing. I'm talking to them on the 27th. I got them both on the phone together. They're going to be in separate rooms, but Garbrandt does not want to be angry at this guy.
You would expect Faber, though, to tell him, look, he's just playing games with you. Just relax. You're going to be in a fight with this guy anyways. Don't go in there.
Words don't help.
Yeah.
Words don't help. You know, don't think of a pink elephant. We've used this before. What pops into your mind? Don't get mad at this guy. Oh, but he's such a dick. Like, it just, you can't help it. That's the game. And there are times that most of the time, we're wasting our time hanging around talking about the things that these guys say. But there are times that these words are weapons, and we know Conor can do that. We know the Diaz brothers can do that, and Dom can do that very, very well.
Is this a key, John, that for Cody Garbrandt to win this fight, he's going to need to stop Dominick Cruz? Are those first 2 rounds what you're looking at? Is there a way that Cody Garbrandt, he may come out? We've never seen him in a 5-round scenario before.
No, he's intelligent. He's skilled. He's well coached. I think he knows what he needs to do. It's just, can you do it when you're in there with a guy the level of Dominick Cruz? You have a certain strategy and game plan. It's like, we're prepared for 25 minutes. That's not, nobody's questioning that. It's now you're in the fire.
Cody Garbrandt, like, I feel like many people are going to pick Cruz, and it's because Dominick Cruz is the top bantamweight. He's one of the top fighters in the world, period. Cody Garbrandt, it's not a knock against this guy. But just about any bantamweight stepping in there with Dominick Cruz at this stage of Cruz's career, where I feel this guy is laying out patterns and setups in the octagon. He just feels like he's on a different level when it comes to preparation.
I think
he is on a different level.
One of the things, we were talking to Misha Serkinov. We had him here in the studio. The guy's won 4 fights in the UFC. When you look at the light heavyweight division right now, they're kind of running out of challengers for the title. And he understands that you win 4 fights in the UFC, people start looking at you. Win all 4 fights in the UFC by stopping people, the UFC is going to take notice. And eventually, if things play out the way they're going to play out, the UFC will end up offering you a title shot. Is it ideal? No, I'm looking for years of development before I thought I would challenge for a title. But the opportunity is here right now. You take this opportunity, and the same thing with Cody Garbrandt. He knows he's still developing. Everybody's around it. People understand how good Dominick Cruz is. You just take the opportunity because the game is so tough. All it takes is a knee injury, and you find yourself out of the game for 3 years.
And if you were going to fight Dominick Cruz in 5 years, and or whoever is the champ, and go and fight with a good chance of becoming the champ, you know what will make that even better? Fighting him right now.
Yeah.
Learning what it is, getting close, having good moments. And you might do it. You might win. You might knock him out. The best moments that anybody has had in the last couple of years was later in the fight as TJ started figuring out the timing on landing the low kick in the direction Dom was moving. So Dom's moving this way, we chop his leg. Dom's moving this way, we chop his leg. Best success anyone's had. So you got to figure a young guy's doing that. You also got to figure Dom is looking at it going, geez, I like pitching shutouts. Oh, and they did that. I better make sure that never happens again. So there's no real answer. If you think you have the answer, chances are one of the best minds in the sport, who is an innovator, also has the answer to that answer.
That's going down at UFC 207. Dominick Cruz defending his UFC Bantamweight Championship against Cody Garbrandt.